Welcome to this next module of percentage. In the previous module, we have covered introduction of percentage, relation of ratio, fraction and percentage, properties of percentage and rules of converting values into percentage. In this second module, we will be looking at various problems in percentage and also we will see some numerical and word problems in percentage. So let's begin. Our first problem is if 19% of population of a town is 3800, find the population of the town. Here we have to find that the total population of town is not known, but the rate is known, that is 19% of population of town is 3800. We have to find the total population. So in such questions, let us first substitute what is asked. So we have been asked to find total population. So let us substitute that, let the population of the town be x. Now from the question, 19% of x, that is the total population, it is given that the value is 3800. On solving this, I can write 19% as 19 by 100. So it is 19 by 100 into x, which is equal to 3800. On solving further, we get the value of x as 20,000. What was x? X was our total population. Hence, the population of the town is 20,000. Next question. Tax on income above rupees 35,000 is 10 paisa per rupee. It is given that the tax on income above rupees 35,000 is 10 paisa per rupee. If a person pays rupees 180 as tax, what is his total income? It is given that a person pays rupees 180 as tax, what is his total income? Since it is given that tax on income above rupees 35,000 is 10 paisa per rupee. In terms of rupees, it is 1 paisa tax on income above rupees 35,000 is 1 upon 10 per rupee. It is given that rupees 180 has been paid as a tax. Now converting this 180 rupees into paisa, we have 180 into 100, which is 18,000 paisa. Now 18,000 paisa tax on income above rupees 35,000 is equal to 1 upon 10 into 18,000, which is equal to rupees 1800. Hence, the total income is the amount of salary plus the tax, that is 35,000 plus 1800, which is equal to 36,800. Next question. If income of capital A is 50% more than that of capital B, then by what percent the income of capital B is less than that of capital A? Try to understand the question. If income of capital A is 50% more than B, then it doesn't mean that income of B is less than 50%. Let us see how. So first we have to substitute that, let the income of capital B is 100. It is given that A's income is 50% more than 100. That means A's income is 100 plus 50% of 100, which is equal to 150. Now when A's income is 150, B's income is 100. In terms of percentage, we always try to find values that are in terms of 100. Now when A's income is equal to 100, B's income is 100 upon 150 into 100, which is equal to 200 by 3 or 66/2 upon 3. We have started with 100 rupees, but now the income of B reduces to 66/2 upon 3. So what is the amount of decrease? The decrease in B's income is equal to 100 minus 66/2 by 3, which is equal to 33/1 by 3. Hence, B's income is 33/1 upon 3% less than that of capital A's income. Here, one important point mentioning here is that if you take any value in terms of 100, whatever is the unit, at last we can straight away convert it into a percentage value. So here the decrease in B's income is 33/1 upon 3 rupees. Since it is in terms of 100, I can write it as B's income is 33/1 upon 3% less than that of A's income. Let's move on to the next question. A person drawing a salary of rupees 600 per month got a rise of 25%. 1 year later, his salary was reduced by 10%. What is his new salary? Here, let the initial salary P0 is equal to rupees 600. It is given that the salary is 600. So, this base salary we are considering it as P0. Now, percentage increase, that is R1 is equal to 25%, percentage decrease R2 is equal to 10%. Now, the new salary after 2 changes is P2. We know that P2 is equal to P0, which is initial value, into 1 plus R1 upon 100 since there is an increment, and 1 minus R2 by 100 since it shows it is a decrement. Putting the values, we have P2 is equal to 600, 1 plus 25 by 100 into 1 minus 10 by 100. On solving further, we have the value of P2 as rupees 675. Hence, the new salary of the person is rupees 675. Next example. A certain job was charged rupees 175 for the materials and rupees 125 for the labor. If material cost increased by 12.5% and the labor cost increased by 7.5%, we have to find the percent cost of the job and the percentage increase in the cost. Let us see the solution. Here, the old costing of the job is old material cost plus the old labor cost, which is equal to 175 plus 125, that is equal to 300. Let us mark this as equation number 1. Now, the material cost has been increased. So, it is 175 plus 12.5% of 175. The new cost is equal to 196.875 rupees. Also, labor cost increased by 7.5%. So, the new or the increased labor cost is 125 plus 7.5% of 125. On solving, we have the increased labor cost as rupees 134.375. So, the present cost of job is the new material cost plus the new labor cost, which is equal to 196.875 plus 134 plus 375, which amounts to rupees 331.25. Let us mark it as equation number 2. From 1 and 2, we can calculate the percentage increase. So, we use the formula, the percentage increase is equal to increased cost divided by old cost multiplied by 100. That means 331.25 minus 300 divided by 300 multiplied by 100. On solving this, we have the value of the percentage increase as 10.42%. Therefore, the present cost of job is equal to 331.25 and the percentage increase is 10.42%. Let us look at the new problem. In an election, 4% of voters cast are invalid. A candidate gets 55% of the total valid votes and wins the election by 1920 votes. Find the number of votes casted. We assume that there are only 2 candidates here. So, in an election, 4% of the votes cast are invalid. That means if 100 people voted, 4 people didn't vote. A candidate who wins get 55% of the total votes casted, and he wins by a majority of 1920 votes. We have to find the total number of votes casted. Let us see the solution. Let the total vote casted is 100 votes. Therefore, number of invalid vote is 4% of 100, which is 4 votes. So, the number of valid votes are the total votes minus the invalid votes, which is 96 votes. Number of votes secured by the winning candidate is 55% of the total votes casted, that is 55% of 96, which is equal to 264 upon 5 votes. Do not solve it right now, we will use the fraction part only. The number of votes secured by the losing candidate is total valid votes minus the winning votes, that is 96 minus 264 upon 5, which is equal to 216 upon 5 votes. Now, what is the difference in the votes? The difference in the votes is 264.5 minus 216 upon 5. which is equal to 48 upon 5 votes. Now, when the winner gets 48 upon 5 votes, then the total vote casted is equal to 100 votes. Now, when the winner gets 1 vote, the total vote casted is equal to 100 into 5 upon 48 votes. Therefore, when the winner gets, it is given that 1920 votes, then the total votes casted is equal to 100 into 5 upon 48 multiplied by 1920, which is equal to 20,000 votes. Hence, the number of votes casted is equal to 20,000. The next question. Of the candidates in an examination, 37.5% were girls, 75% of boys and 62.5% of girls passed the examination. If 342 girls failed, find how many boys were failed in the examination. So, it is given that in an examination 37.5% were girls, and out of the total students who passed the examination, 75% were boys and 62.5% were girls. It is also given that the number of failed girl students is 342. We have to find how many boys were failed in the examination. Let us see the solution. Let the total number of candidates is equal to 100. So, the number of girls out of these is 37.5%, that is 75 upon 2, and the number of boys were 100 minus the number of girls, that is 100 minus 75 by 2, which is equal to 125 by 2. Now, number of passed boys is equal to 75% of number of total boys, that is 75% of 125 upon 2, which is equal to 375 upon 8. Therefore, number of failed boys are 125 upon 2 minus 375 upon 8, which is equal to 125 upon 8. What we have done? We have subtracted the number of passed boys from the total number of boys. So, what is left? It is the number of failed boys. Similarly, the number of passed girls is 62.5% of the total girls, that is 62.5% of 75 by 2. We get the answer as 375 upon 16. Therefore, number of failed girls is equal to 75 by 2 minus 375 by 16. The answer is 225 by 16. Now, when the failed girls are 275 by 16, the failed boys are 125 by 8. Therefore, when the failed girls are 342, which is given in the question, the failed boys are 125 upon 8 multiplied by 16 upon 225 multiplied by 342, which is equal to 380. Hence, the number of failed boys is equal to 380. The next question. The price of sugar increased by 20%. How many percent the consumption of sugar should be reduced so that the expenditure remains unchanged? Let us see the solution. Let the original price of sugar be 100 rupees. Now, the increased price of sugar is 20%. That means 100 plus 20% of 100, which is equal to 120 rupees. In order to keep our expenditure same, that is, we have to keep the expenditure as 100 only, we have to reduce rupees 20 on rupees 120. So, the percentage decrease is equal to the amount of decrease divided by increased expenditure multiplied by 100. Here the amount of decrease is 120 minus 100, which is equal to 20, divided by the increased expenditure, which is 120 multiplied by 100. On solving, we have the value as 50 by 3, and in mixed fraction we can write it as 16.2 upon 3%. Hence, the consumption of sugar must be reduced by 16.2 upon 3%. Next question. If tax decreases by 30% and the consumption increases by 30%, find the percentage increase or decrease in the revenue. So, we have to find the percentage increase in revenue if we have a decrease in the tax and we have an increase in the consumption. Let us see the solution. It is given that increase in the tax is 30% and decrease in the consumption is 30%. Let the percent of tax, that is X percent, and the consumption is Y. Here we have taken two different variables because we have two different quantities to calculate. So we have taken X for the tax and Y for the consumption. Therefore, the revenue is X percent of Y, which is equal to XY upon 100. Let us mark it as equation number 1. Now the new tax is equal to old tax multiplied by 1 minus 30 by 100, because there is a decrement in the tax, which is equal to 70x upon 100%, or we have 7x upon 10%. And the new consumption is equal to old consumption multiplied by 1 plus 30 by 100, because we have an increment in the consumption, so we are using the plus sign, which is equal to 130 y divided by 100, which is equal to 13 upon 10 y. The new revenue is 7x by 10 multiplied by 1 upon 100 multiplied by 13y by 10. We have substituted the value of percentage as 1 upon 100 here for calculation. So the final answer is 91xy divided by 10,000. Let us mark it as equation number 2. Therefore, decrease in the revenue is equal to amount of decrease divided by the old revenue multiplied by 100. Here we have the amount of decrease as xy upon 100 minus 91xy by 10,000 whole upon xy by 100, which is the old revenue, multiplied by 100. On solving this, we get the answer as 9%. Hence, there is a decrement in the revenue and that value is equal to 9%. The next question. A mixture of 140 liters of milk and water contains 10% water. How much more water must be added to the mixture in order to make the amount of water 1 upon 2% in the resulting mixture? This is a question of mixtures. Let us see its solution. In a mixture of 140 liters, the quantity of water is 10%. That means the quantity of water is equal to 10% of 140, which is equal to 10 upon 100 into 140, which is 14 liters. So the quantity of milk is 140 minus this amount of water, so we get the answer as 126 liters. Now let us suppose that x liters of water be added to make the amount of water in the resulting mixture is equal to 12.5%. Hence, the amount of milk in the resulting mixture is equal to 100 minus 12.5%, which is equal to 87.5%. Let the new mixture be y liters, because we have already used the term x for water, so we are taking this new term y. Let us suppose that the new mixture be y liters. Therefore, 87.5% of this new mixture is equal to 126, which is the quantity of milk. On solving, I get the value of y as 144 liters. Now, the quantity of water to be added is 144 minus 140, that is 4 liters. Hence, the amount of water to be added in the resultant mixture is equal to 4 liters. The next question. A milkman has 2 batches of milk. The first batch contains 20% water and the second batch contains 10% water. In the evening, the milkman mixes 45 liters of the first batch with 105 liters of the second batch to form a new mixture. What is the percentage of water in the new mixture? Let us see the solution. Given the quantity of water in the first batch is 20%, therefore, the quantity of water in 45 liters of mixture, it is given that we have 45 liters of the first batch. So, the quantity of water in 45 liters of mixture is equal to 9 liters. Quantity of waters in the second batch is 10%. Therefore, quantity of water in 105 liters of mixture is equal to 10.5 liters. Now, the quantity of water in the new mixture, that is 9 liters plus 10.5 liters, we have total 19.5 liters. And the quantity of the new mixture is 45 liters plus 105 liters, which is equal to 150 liters. Therefore, the percentage of water in this new mixture is equal to 19.5 divided by 150 multiplied by 100, which is equal to 13%. Hence, the percentage of water in the new mixture is 13%. Next question. The total annual income of A, B and C is rupees 79,800. They spend 80%, 87.5% and 90% of their income respectively. If their annual savings are in the ratio of 16, 17 and 12, that is 16:17:12, then find the income of each. Here, for solving this question, we make use of ratio concepts. Let us see the solution. It is given that the ratio of savings of A, B and C is equal to 16:17:12. Therefore, let the annual savings of A, B and C are 16x, 17x and 12x respectively. It is also given that A's expenditure is equal to 80%. It implies A's saving is income minus expenditure, that is 100 minus 80, which is equal to 20%. Similarly, B's expenditure is 87.5%. It implies that B's saving is equal to 100 minus 87.5, which is equal to 25/2%. And C's expenditure is 90%. That means savings of C is equal to 100 minus 90, which is equal to 10%. Now, it is given that 20% of A's income is equal to A's saving. So, we can say that A's income is equal to A's saving multiplied by 100 divided by 20. We have just moved this 20% to the other side. So, putting the values, we have 16x into 100 by 20, the answer is 80x. Similarly, B's income is equal to B's saving multiplied by 100 divided by 25 by 2, which is equal to 136x. And C's income is equal to C's savings into 100 divided by 10, which is equal to 120x. So, the total income of A, B and C here is 80x plus 136x plus 120x, which is equal to 336x. And in the question, the total annual income is given as 79,800. So, equating them together, we get the value of x as 79,800 divided by 336. Finally, A's saving is equal to 16x, which is 3800. B's saving is 17x, which is 4037.50, and C's saving is 12x, which is 2850. Let us look back what we have covered in this session. We have seen the types of problems that may come across in percentage. We have seen numerical and word problems in percentage. I hope this session of percentage is beneficial for you. Thank you.